What's going on, you guys? It's your boy Town Biz. All right, so congratulations to the Oklahoma City Thunder as they are officially crowned the 2025 NBA champions, world champs. I know somebody don't like for people to say world champs, but they are the world champs. A guy that's begging Adidas, for endorsement, you know. But nevertheless, great 7 game series. And the question is this team good enough to repeat? We'll have to see. I don't know. I don't know if this team is good enough to build a dynasty. I don't know if they're what you would call a one and done for the next few years. But at the end of the day, we'll talk about the championship they did win. They got it done in 7 games. They did have a little bit of luck because Halliburton, who looked like he was going to be scorching hot, who was going to have a great game, went down. Looked like he has an Achilles injury, so that means he's going to be out for a while. That's just crazy that things like this keep happening, because at the end of the day, it was going to be a eventful game 7, and then based off the fact that this is what I'm talking about. Um, OKC was at home and they were a little too good to lose that game 7. Of course, SGA is the finals MVP, and rightfully so. He played outstanding basketball. Now, the thing is, in the future, and I'm probably going to do a video about this, can the NBA sell the OKC on a global scale, sell this team as a team that everybody wants to tune in to watch? And the problem is with SGA, I'm going to say this again. SGA, great basketball player, fundamentally sound, but, he doesn't have much of a personality, and they'd like for you to have a bit of a personality. And he lacks that among a whole bunch of other things, but they were the best team this season, fundamentally sound, played good defense. They're not the greatest defensive team I ever seen in my life, but they can make defensive stops when need be. And that's what happened, because the Pacers, they went icy cold. Like in the fourth quarter, they just couldn't hit shots for a while. And you started to see it in the third quarter. They tried to keep the game close as long as possible, but the inevitable was going to happen, where OKC was going to eventually pull away. They was going to put the clamps on this particular team. But Indiana can hold their hats up high and say, well, who knows what would have happened if we would have been at full strength, if we wouldn't have lost one of our best players. So that's basically in a nutshell what happened with this series. Now, do I think the Pacers could have possibly pulled off and won game 7 had they been at full strength and Halliburton wouldn't have went down in the first quarter? Absolutely. He had 9 points before he got hurt. It looked like he was on his way to having one of them big games. And then basically they knew once he was out, well, basically focus on Siakam and try to make the other teams and try to make the other players on the team beat you. And unfortunately, they just didn't have enough for OKC, and that was just the story of the game, going into game 7. But it was a hell of a series, and based off the ratings, it appears that nobody cared. And this is the problem that the NBA is going to have to really, really evaluate going into these summer meetings. How do we get people to watch the NBA and watch the finals? Because at the end of the day, you can't keep hoping to get LeBron to the finals, hoping that people will watch. And then speaking of LeBron James was out and about and he was getting booed. He was getting heckled. And it looked like he was bothered, because LeBron is one of those dudes. He want everybody to like him, but he makes it impossible for everybody to like him. Now, getting to SGA, great player. I'm going to say this again. He deserved the finals MVP. You can make argument, win or lose. You could have made an argument that he might have been the finals MVP, but he had a phenomenal game. He had a phenomenal closeout game, 29 points, and he's been phenomenal in this series for the most part. But I say this again, is he the guy that can carry the league? I see a lot of Tim Duncan-ness with him. As great as a player Tim Duncan was, the problem is with Tim Duncan, he didn't have much of a personality. He wouldn't give you anything. And as much as people try to pretend they don't like the extensive celebrating, they don't like the showboat, and they love it because that brings in the fans and that brings in the ratings. Because even if the people who don't care for it, even though they try to act like they don't care for it, when they really do, they want to see it so they can complain about it. And the problem is Tim Duncan, he just didn't give you any content. Now, Tim Duncan, he pretty much, before the internet, like, and social media blew up, he was, his best years were behind it. But now you got these dudes like, SGA and those type of dudes, and that's the problem. SGA needs to open up. I'm about to block you. So I'm about to block you since you playing on my channel. Now, with that being said, I think the NBA, once again, when they have these summer meetings, they're gonna have to figure out what is the next strategy, what is the next way post LeBron James. We shouldn't market the league around one specific guy. We need to market the league around our best international players and our best American players. That is the key. And another thing we're going to have to do, we're going to have to start marketing these smaller market cities. We can't rely on the playoffs and in the finals being in Miami, Miami, LA, New York, or even the Bay Area or Boston every year. They have to find a way to basically make the NBA a global entity, make every city a global entity. Even if the city is quote unquote possibly what you would call not exactly a tourist city, well, that's what advertisers are for. That's what marketing is for. That's what strategists are for. You hire people to make it seem like it's the best place to visit. You sell the illusion that, everybody is beating down the door to go to OKC or go to Indianapolis. That's what you got to do. It's really simple math. But once again, congratulations to the OKC. It's your boy Town. I'm out.